What is up, guys? Thought of the day, number 32 on this beautiful sunny day. Taking a bit of time for a walk and a talk. So here we go. Today I wanted to talk about the crazy adventure I had down in the south of France a couple weeks ago with the Laidlows family. You might have seen, if you haven't seen, go check it out. You might have seen the teaser that I put together about the few days that I spent with Sam Laidlows and his family. And I haven't spoken about it in English yet, so I thought I'd take that thought of the day and talk a little bit about my experience down there, and then the content of the videos I'll be posting over the coming weeks, because there's a lot of content to be posted. So essentially, I was invited to go spend 3 days in the south of France, in Amélie-les-Bains, in the Pyrenees, the mountain range that divides the European continent between France and Spain, to keep things simple, for a testing slash training slash thinking camp with Sam Laidlows and his team slash family, as well as a group of coaches that was gathered for the occasion. The coaches that were there were Andrew Sellers, co-founder of VO2 Master and co-founder of Breathe Way Better, who is an MD and also a passionate coach and cyclist himself. Luke Way, creator of the Breathe Way Better, coach of some of the best triathletes in the world, Jameson Plews, Brock Howell, to name a couple of them that I've had the chance to interview on the podcast already. He was there as well. We had Richard, Sam's dad, Michelle, Sam's mom, Jake, Sam's brother. Like I said, Sam's team is composed in, the main parts of his team are his family, which is fucking amazing. I'll gladly swear for that, because that's how intensely I feel about this fact, and I'll come back to it a little bit later in this video. So obviously the whole family of Sam was there. We also had Tomek, who works in the Czech Republic. Voltek, who works in the Czech Republic, and who brought he's an ex-pro cyclist, works now in physiological testing, if I understand things correctly. He brought the physio flow. You might have seen a clip of him holding a computer on a bike behind Sam. That was probably the most epic moment of the trip. Tomek was there as well. Tomek, who was a triathlete, is a triathlon coach, and who is currently putting together a study about respiratory training. And given that that was going to be one of the topics of the week, he was interested in joining. He's from Poland, if I'm not mistaken. So he was there as well. And we also had Michael from that triathlon show. Really great to meet him in person, and had a few really good chats about training, testing. I mean, that's really what the whole trip was about, right? It was getting all together, getting some testing done, but then leaving a lot of time for open exchanges, talking about ideas, challenging those ideas, confronting ideas, and try to come out on the other side with ways for Sam to get better. That was really the whole ethos of this week. So it started on the Tuesday evening, 21st of March. I drove down from Switzerland. It was about a 6-hour drive. Got there early afternoon, a little bit earlier than I had planned, so that was good. Had a chance to just chill in the afternoon. And essentially I was there to contribute a few thoughts. And I was also there to get some footage, to get some video of the whole event. So I essentially let my camera run for the major part of those 3-4 days. I think I came out with about 15 hours of video, which is a lot. And what I'm gonna do now is just chip away at those videos and put them out. And I'm obviously re-listening to all of it to make sure that everything can go out publicly, but also to try. I'm obviously gonna keep most of it. I'm not gonna do a lot of editing, so there's gonna be some highs and lows in terms of the pace of conversation and the topics. But that was one of the ideas, was to give an insight, kind of a fly on the wall perspective of all the conversations and all the testing and all the debating that went on over the 3 days. So that's how I'm gonna put it out. There's gonna be minimal editing, pretty raw content. Some of it's gonna probably be more interesting than other parts, but you'll just have to live with that. But in the end, we'll probably have at least 10 hours. I think at least 10 hours of uncut and raw content from those 3 days. So what did we do during those 3 days? Tuesday, we arrived on Tuesday evening. So I already have about 3 hours of video from the Tuesday evening alone, just talking about how do we plan the testing, what are we going to do, getting a lot of background from Sam and Richard on how they've been training and what's coming up for them as well, and what's coming up for Sam and Nice. I just saw that, and I spoke to Richard today. They are in Nice right now doing a bit of recon on the course, which is awesome, for the Ironman event in September, which I might be attending. That would be a lot of fun. To be continued on that front. So already quite a bit of discussions on the Tuesday evening. We also had a nice roundtable after dinner, talking about the equipment that we were going to use, strengths, limitations, what kind of information we were going to try and extract from those. And then we got to work on the Wednesday, started with a bike test, 515 protocol, led by Luke and Andrew on the bike for both Jake and for Sam. Sam then jumped straight onto the treadmill to get an eye on what was going on under fatigue. That was the Tuesday. That was the Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, there was a swim session in the pool. Some intervals, some breathe way better included in the mix as well. Some very different reactions between Jake, Sam's brother, and Sam himself to the inclusion of respiratory training within the session. More on that later. And then I got a chance to sit down with Sam, had a little chat about everything that was going on. I'm quite fascinated by the fact that despite the level that they operate at, they're fully willing to share all that information freely and openly. It's pretty remarkable. And as you probably know, if you've been following my stuff for a while, that's very much how I operate. I don't see the value in keeping secrets, because by the time you've shared it, you've already done the thing. And at the end of the day, may the best win. And that's so that was really that really stuck with me. That really stuck with me over the whole week. Then on the Wednesday evening, we had a hour and a half debrief with the coaches on the data that was collected that day. And what we did then is we all wrote down 2 or 3 elements that we saw as being potential improvement points for Sam, given the information that we had seen and collected on the day. And what was really interesting is that we had as close as it gets to a consensus on what we had witnessed and what the next steps were going to be. So that was the Wednesday evening. Thursday morning, went on the track in the morning, a little track session with Sam, with Jake as well. A little bit of testing around race pace there, different race paces. In the afternoon, we went on the hill. He had his bike and tried some 20-minute segments. If I remember correctly, it was 340 watts, 400 watts, and 360 or 70 on the third one. And that was the work for the afternoon. That's where you might have already seen Voltec on the bike following Sam. Funny story, the battery of the electric bike gave out about I think it was about 1 kilometer from the top on that ascent, on that second ascent. Sam was pushing 400 watts all the way through to the top. So big props to Voltec for holding, I don't know what he held on that 25 kilo bike uphill to be able to stay in the wheel, in Sam's wheel. Yeah, I'm throwing numbers around, but it must have been at least 600 or 700 watts. So thank God he used to be a pro cyclist, and he still has some solid remains of that past. So that was pretty crazy. And what was interesting, very interesting on that, is see some of the cardiac dynamics. But we had very good data from the physio flow. So his all things cardiac. So looking at some parameters that I don't even understand yet, but trying to look at stroke volume. That was obviously very interesting to see in real time and see how that evolves, see how it compares to other athletes. So that was very, very interesting. So we got some data on the hill climb, but what was even more interesting, I think, is the respiratory data that we got from, or the ventilation data, to be exact, from Sam, how he was breathing throughout the effort. So that was the Thursday evening, another debrief, a little talk around what could be improved and how we could get there. And then the Friday morning, there was another pool session followed by a coffee, after which I had to leave because I had another 6 hours of driving to get to the middle of France for a conference that weekend. I know Andrew and Luke stayed for another couple days and got some solid respiratory training in with Sam and the family. So that was some extra footage that I wasn't there to capture. But like I said, I filmed pretty much everything that happened on the testing, talking side between Tuesday evening and Friday morning. And so I'll be releasing that in pieces. I was thinking of doing fairly long chunks at first, but I think I'm gonna bank on some shorter videos, shorter in the area of about 30 minutes per video. That way it's easier for me to edit, to go through. There'll be more of them. and at the end, we'll have a nice series of vlog type videos retracing that event over those few days. And again, the idea is, yeah, let's talk openly, let's share all this and see if anybody else has any other ideas, you know, to contribute to what we have to share. One thing before I let you go, and by the way, so the teaser is out and I was editing the first video this morning. I think I can probably have it out before the end of the week. I'm gonna try and do that. I should have Richard on the podcast next week, which is exciting. I haven't recorded a podcast in a little while. I'm a little bit behind schedule, so it's good to get back on track. I'm gonna have all the protagonists of the week on the podcast at some point to talk about what happened and their backgrounds, and probably give a bit of context to the videos that will be posted. See everybody's role in what they had to bring and what their perspectives were coming into it. So that's some podcasts that will be recorded and released over the next few weeks as well. One thing I want to say before we get to the end here, one thing that really stuck out to me is the quality of the environment that Sam and his family have created for him and for Jake as well, to be top performers, or to give them the opportunity to be top performers. One thing that stood out as well, Jake is still pretty young, 13 or 14 if I'm not mistaken. He's not quite sure what he wants to do yet in terms of focusing on the sport. He still plays rugby. We had a good chat about that. Obviously triathlon is in the genes and in the house, but no pressure from anybody for him to focus or to do only that or to do it all the time. So very open, very welcoming, obviously, and a very positive environment. And Sam said it multiple times, Richard said it multiple times. We don't mind sharing everything that we do on the training side, simply because this is not where we make where we separate ourselves from the pack. It is really on the long-term goals and mindset that they hold, and on the environment that they've created for Sam and for him to be able to develop over 20 years to get to the highest level of the sport and to get to fulfill his own potential. One thing that really struck me was how little he trains compared to the rest of the pro field in long course triathlon. I think he was talking about 25 hours per week right now, which is so much less than some of the other guys. Yet he's already at the top, or amongst the best, let's say. Very close to the tippy top, with a lot of margin to improve still, and that's pretty mind-boggling. But the environment, the team that Sam has created around him, composed of people that believe in him, that support him no matter what, and that only want the best for him, that are ready to listen to him and what he has to input into the conversation. All those things were really striking. And I really hope that this comes through on the videos that I'll be posting, because I really think that it is one of the big differentiating factors, besides the fact that what Richard and Michelle have built, their Sancture Sport Retreat Center, is essentially what my wife and I are going to build, or are building. We're not building the foundations of the building itself right now, but it is a project that is in the making, that will be for another 5 to 10 years. We're not there yet, but this is where we want to get to. This is what we want to do. And just living it for 4 days, 5 days was quite incredible. So yeah, I'll just take that opportunity to thank Richard, Michelle, Sam, Jake, the whole family, for their openness, how welcoming they were, to the whole team of coaches that was there, exchanging during the week with open minds. And I'm really excited to post those videos, simply, yeah, to get that information out. I know that whenever I follow a sport closely, having behind the scenes is always, you know, by far the most interesting content. Hearing coaches talk, hearing athletes talk, seeing how things just happen on a day-to-day basis, it's always very insightful. So I hope that it can be, I hope that you will get as much out of it as I did. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them below. Getting on to 20 minutes here. I rambled, but the sun is out, so we're walking a little bit longer than planned. But here we go. Looking forward to post those videos. You guys take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next thought of the day.